Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode, or first airing, of the Dungeon Doctor. What is my goal here? I'm here to help you run your Dungeons and Dragons game, or other RPGs, better. I want to help you with all of my experience, and give you a direct line of sorts to an active Dungeon Master. Now, sadly, part of the original intention here was to get us making characters, but I can't get the character sheet reader to show up in window capture, and display capture is a bad idea with how many different programs are open right now. It would just turn into infinite windows. So we're going to be messing around in HeroForge for the most part, while I also answer some questions. I have a couple questions that I've already answered on the Dungeon Doctor Twitter, as well as on the Dungeon Doctor Tumblr. Which for Tumblr, that is going to be at, I want to say it's just the Dungeon Doctor .tumblr.com, and Twitter is going to be at DungeonDoct1. The Dungeon Docked one, just because that's how it threw it at me. I don't know why it did it that way. A couple of things as I scroll through to get back to the questions, so that we can start on that front. And then we will load up HeroForge, and we will talk about character ideas as we make minis. It'll be fun. We'll have a good hour, 2 hours here. That's also why it's clear-ish behind me, so we can put up the HeroForge back there. Yep. Alright, so let's see here. Number one was... let's see here. Yes, is it okay to run Spelljammer? Yeah, if your group's cool with it, run Spelljammer. It's fun. Please run Spelljammer. I like weird. I like novel. I say go for it. That's probably the way to do it. There was one from at Odinforged on Twitter, which it was more them venting, of DMs are players too. How the argument of DMs are not players has lasted 20 plus years is beyond me. DMs are players. I fully agree on that front. DMs are players. DMs play the game. We're just playing it in a different way than the other players. At one moment, as I have a face for radio, but I have to mess with lighting. Ooh, that's far too harsh. That looks much better. And then we can do this. Ooh, yellow. Nope. Ooh, too red. Too purple. Almost. Nah, no secondary color filter. I think this will do fine for now. All right. And then, let's see here. Of course, reminding people that if you can, since Tasha's Cauldron of Everything just came out, if you're going to be picking up a hard copy, please pick it up from your friendly local game store if you have one. I say this both as a Dungeon Master and as a Magic player. Please always support your friendly local game stores. You cannot play games at Walmart or Target, and you definitely can't play them at Amazon. They won't even let you take a bathroom break there. How are you going to play games? So please make sure that you are that you are buying games from where you can play them, if that is available to you. If you have a game store that lets you play, buy from them, and help support them so that those doors stay open. A reminder that charisma checks are not mind control. You can convince somebody of something, but you can't control their every action. That would require magical or psionic intervention. And I think that was all the Twitter questions. And then on Tumblr we had one. Oh, I'm very sorry. Itchy nose there. If this was radio, that wouldn't matter. Which was, what do you do if a dungeon master has ruled out not one, not two, but 4 of your favorite classes because divine spellcasters aren't as good as arcane spellcasters? My answer was that this was GM fiat instead of a flavor ruling. There are settings where not having some of the divine classes can make sense. If you're in, say, a post-apocalyptic world, it could make sense that maybe druids don't have access to all their spells, or maybe there are no more druids. And that just makes sense. If there's no more nature, how would there be more druids? Or if all the gods died, then maybe there aren't any clerics, but you have another class that fills that role. That could push, for example, artificers or bards into the healer position. Or you could make a new class that functions similar to a cleric, but has an entirely different flavor behind it, like some sort of medic, or a charlatan, or a psionic healer of some kind, like the Vitalist in Pathfinder's tie-in product Ultimate Psionics. All of those would work very, very well. I am of the opinion that if you don't like a class because you feel it's weaker than the other classes, the answer is not ban it, the answer is strengthen it. Especially since most DMs are complaining about how strong things are. Now, I am, honestly, very often in the classes are too weak boat. I'm actually working on some house rules for 5th edition myself to kind of bring up the power level of some classes that need it. In my opinion, Ranger being a big one, by kind of splicing together a couple different Ranger variants and some of my own ideas. But yeah, I'm never a big fan of banning classes outside of flavor reasons or outside of certain tertiary classes. Like I tend to assume that if we have a class-based system, you have primary, secondary, and tertiary classes. And so your primary classes are going to be things like your... well, there's the 4 I call the core classes. That'd be your fighter, cleric, rogue, wizard. D&D basically can't exist without them, in my opinion, or without something in their position. Then you have your primary classes, which are the ones in the player's handbook of whatever edition you're in. Then you have the secondary classes, which are classes that can still fit fairly easily into any world. In my opinion, all the psionic classes end up there, even though I always allow for them, with a few rare exceptions. I feel psionic classes, typically the Scion, the Wilder, if we're talking 3-5, fit very well into almost any world. Same with the Artificer. They just fit. Even if you're not in a super high-tech world, a mad scientist is an archetype for a reason. But then you have tertiary classes, and those are classes that I feel have a weaker connection to archetypes, as we see in fantasy literature, especially heroic archetypes. So, for example, in 3-5, I would not always allow people to play an assassin or a death master, because those aren't very heroic. They're villainous in nature. And part of the point of Dungeons & Dragons is you're the hero, unless you're playing a villainous campaign. So, or anti-paladin, I count as a tertiary class. It does fit an archetype, but it's a villainous archetype. Compared to, say, the bard, which it maybe isn't the strongest archetype, but dude with a lute who sings a lot. That's in a lot of fantasy literature, so he's fine. The other type of tertiary archetype are the ones that are very specific. So you have things like the Dragon Shaman or the Dragonfire Adept, which, like Dragonfire Adept nowadays, I would say is just a dragon-packed warlock. And Dragon Shaman would just be some sort of dragon circle druid. They wouldn't necessarily be a whole new class. The Warlord, I kind of feel is secondary. Unless you're in 4th, then it's primary, clearly. But any other edition, the Warlord you can get away with making into a fighter archetype. As long as you're really pushing it home, that's what you're doing. But like a Mariner, I liked Mariner in 3rd edition. I liked it in... I have a 2nd edition Mariner somewhere in my backlog of things to let players use. But like if we're in 4th edition, I'd make it a theme. If we're in 5th edition, Mariner's just sailor background. You don't even need a class for that. That's what a tertiary class is. It is a class that is that far off the main path that it doesn't quite hit that same element as like a fighter or a ranger. Like a fighter, you see in your head the knight in shining armor or the soldier with like a bajillion swords and knives. Or heck, even like a wrestler type or a gladiator. The fighter gives you an image in your head. It's not always the same image, but it's a strong image, and you can see it. You can manipulate it. It's an archetype. Ranger, like everyone thinks Aragorn, but I would say like Wolverine from the X-Men as a ranger. He's got the adamantium claws. That's a genetic thing. But the way he acts of sniffing out people and tracking them down and hiding in the woods and being a little grittier than the other X-Men, that feels very rangery to me. Or like a Alan Silvermane type, especially if you're in a campaign with guns. I typically allow guns, unless it just makes no sense. If we're playing early medieval period, I don't allow guns. But anything after that, there are some types of guns. There won't be 6-shooters necessarily. My general setting I use, there are 6-shooters, and I love them. Though I have 7-shooters, because 7's a magic number. Alright, so let's start looking at making a character. Oh, it works better if I turn on the window so you can all see. And there we are. There's our HeroForge doodad. And I'm thinking we need to make some characters. And I think making some characters is a good idea. Oh, you know what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to switch accounts real fast, because I'm in my primary account. And I want to be in the Dungeon Doctor account right now. Though I'd be happy to show you some of the characters in my primary account a little later. For right now, we need to set up with the Dungeon Doctor account, which is under this one. It's loading me in. Haha. Great. All right. And now I can turn it back on so you guys can't see my password. That's the secret. All right, so we have, this is HeroForge. For those of you who don't know what HeroForge is, it is a mini building website. If you have a 3D printer at home, you can buy the file when you're done with it. If you don't, they'll print it for you and send it to you. We have a couple of HeroForge minis, but they've added painting, so we can paint in this engine and create a fully realized character. It's great for what I call character doodling. And I feel the first thing we should do is the most generic of all characters, a human fighter. And I realize it's like, oh, that's no fun. But it can be. It can be very fun. Like we can give him very soft features. Make him a young boy. Make him grizzled. Let's mess with his hair. This haircut's fine, but I'm personally feeling over here. Shaggy hair. Yeah, gives us kind of a fun look there. Human fighters are one of the starter characters, in my opinion. My first character was a half-elf ranger. Though I think I built him and then I never got to play him, which is kind of sad. What I did get to end up playing... No, mutton chops are a mistake. Much like in high school, mutton chops are a mistake. What I did end up playing was a half-elf wizard, so I do feel half-elves are always fun. But yeah, I think human fighter is the way to go here. And they've added extra arms, which is very fun for me. I have homebrew rules for Mirren Vidalkin, which, if you don't know what that means, Mirren... we could do Thrycreen. Oh, we're doing a Thrycreen later. Mirren, in this case, is meaning from Mirrodin, And Vidalkin, for those who've read Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, they are the semi-amphibious smart people who normally ally themselves with the Simic. Not as much as the Simic hybrids, but a lot of Simic hybrids used to be Vidalkin, or elves, or merfolk, or humans. Even though they didn't put merfolk rules in the Ravnica book for some reason, I don't know why, they had them just lying around. They're basically Tritons, just use Tritons for the most part. It's a quick and easy fix. But yeah, I think we could just stick with normal human limbs here, but we're dealing with a fighter, so let's make him a little taller. I always make my characters as short as possible in an MMO, but we are not in an MMO. I think 6'4" is always fun. Let's give him some beefy arms. We want to go full Popeye. Oh no, that's his hips. I thought those were lower arms. I was gonna give him like the huge cancerous forearms of Popeye the Sailor Man. Let's go a little bit bigger on the upper scale. No, we don't want to mess with the arm length. It's fine as is. Now, I'm always fond of having a slightly fat fighter, but I think here we want to go abs for days. All the abs. Do we mess with the booty slider on this one? Make him thicker than a bowl of oatmeal? No, I think normal amount of booty is fine for our starting human fighter. Though I can hear in my heart some people having an issue with that. There it is in the chat. Always max the booty. Alrighty. And of course, a fighter is nothing without armor. We need armor. Let's find some good armor. We have this plate mail bikini, but that feels more like a barbarian thing than a fighter thing. I think the way to go here... Oh, I do kind of like the look of this one, especially with Rime of the Frost Maiden out. But... I'm slightly itchy. Let's go... There's so many options to pick from. And as we're building this mini, we're kind of getting an idea of what our guy is. So he's very beefy for a fighter, so that leads me to believe... Conquistador looks good. But that leads me to believe that the way to make him is some kind of great weapon fighter. I feel a great weapon fighter is probably the way to go here. Oh yeah, plate mail. Plate mail is always classic. Alright, and then he needs pants. Despite what most people think, your character should wear some pants. That's fairly important. It keeps you from getting kicked out of everywhere. We want some nice armored legs. Plate mail armored legs. Very good. And then we need some booties. And then I realize we're just playing dress up at this point. Because that's what you do when you play... At some point when you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, you will end up playing dress up with your character. And there's no getting around that. And of course, since we are live, that means you are free to ask any D&D questions you have, either as a player or a DM, here in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them as soon as possible. Hey, Boots, there you go. Let's get him some gloves. He needs some good bracers. Yeah. Ooh, and I do like the look of the chainmail gauntlets. Even though the engraved arm guards might be a bit more fitting here. We're just basic. Basic is fine. I do like the high-tech gauntlets, but I think we should save those for an artificer. Or for one of those, what do they call it? Inventor wizards from Unearthed Arcana. Oh, heavy mail gauntlets, yes. Going full armored dude. Does he need a helmet? That is an important question. Because as fun as a helmet can be, it covers up the hair. So that's an issue in and of itself. is do we cover up the hair? And I think leaving his luxurious locks there is the way to go. Now we need to go to his gear. I think a big old sword is traditional. See how he looks with a big greatsword. Ah, look at that. Look at that. That looks real nice. Although, there's something to be said about that. Maybe the bastard sword looks better? Which, by the way, in Japanese role-playing games, whenever they're talking about a buster sword, that is a bastard sword. That is a translation error. Or rather, a translation difference. Oh, now, what could be very fun, though, right there, is this flamberge. I think the flamberge is the way to go. Especially if we add a little bit of this to it. Some actual flames to that flamberge. Small flame attachment. Large flame attachment. There we are. Ah, yeah. I'm liking that. Okay. As for his side... Oh, side. There we go. He should have a scabbard on his side, shouldn't he? Yeah. Scabbard that in no way would ever hold his sword. No. But maybe a dagger at his side as his backup weapon. And on his back... See, on his back I would put the sheath because I'm a Legend of Zelda fan. Oh, back items. There it is. Scrolling through quickly. Quickly scrolling through. Yeah, there it is. That way he can do the Link thing. Putting the sword on his back. I think we're good on eyes. We don't need to do anything to his eyes. He doesn't need any mask coverings, but we might do it on a rogue later. Yeah. That could be fun. You know what? Let's give him a bit of a rebellious streak here. Give him a septum? Nah, that doesn't look right. No stud's way too big. The studs are too large to feel right. Okay. And me personally, I like the little wooden bases. Okay. And yeah, we're fine there. And we can put something neat. You can't really scale the piercing, sadly. It is a shame. I think we're good there. Okay. Now let's mess with his pose. That's the classic right there, isn't it? That looks neat. That's fun. That, I think, is the most heroic look we can get. Although, I think we want to start here for when we're painting. So let's get to painting. So looking at this character, I would want to run him as a champion, personally. I think that's the way to do it. Alright, let's zoom in on his face. Let's do our skin tones first. We're doing a human. And I'll be honest, I've been kind of digging the deep 6 on humans lately. And I think that's all the exposed flesh on him with the gloves and the boots. So we really only have to do... Oh, wait, his ears. His ears are tucked away in here. Under his hair. There we go. That's not bad. And maybe a little darker. Deep 3? Deep 3 looks pretty good. Give him a nice healthy tan there. Yeah. Alright, I like that. Hair. Hair is important. Tell you what should our new human fighter's hair color be? Do you Should we be more of a blonde, more of a red, more of a brown? Pink. All right, he's gone through a rebellious phase. I like it. So he's got this shock of cotton candy pink hair. Alrighty. We should put some eyeballs on this fellow. What color eyes, I wonder? We got green. We got blue. I want to keep it to the common eyes here. Uncommons we'll save for later. Shards of myself, I see a green. Let's give him some green eyes. Also, thank you for joining us. Okay. That's looking good. We're going to go into bone. We're going to pick teeth for the... Ooh. He's a mime now. For the teeth. There we go. Okay. Now, I see he has an undershirt here, so we're going to go into cloth. What color for that undershirt? I'm feeling Lucy Sprucey. Does a real nice job there. Like a nice blue undershirt. Yeah, you can be proud of that. Okay. And also, since it has this strap that fits really well with our scabbard, I personally like a nice dark leather for the strap. But what should our main metal be? Like, okay. Traditionally, iron is going to look kind of dullish gray. I'm just going to zoom in and use the pecs here as our example. I personally like the brushed nickel look, but I've also been fond of brass on armor lately. But I think that's because I was looking through the 3.5 Magic of Incarnum lately. Pewter also has a certain appeal to it. There's no, like, just straight steel. But what's cobalt look like? Ooh. Cobalt kind of works for me. How are you feeling on this, chat? What kind of metals do you think you want to go with for our pink-haired, rebellious fighter? Cobalt looks nice. All right. So we're going to do some cobalt here. And then we have this, like, this underlayer. And I think the underlayer in iron would work very well. Yeah. So now we're going to use iron on, like, the sword scabbard. And on these highlights here. And on this underlining. There. Just to kind of break it up a little bit. It's still gray, but it's a different family of gray. Now this little bit here is a little brooch. What does that look like in pewter? I kind of like that. Kind of like that. Alright, and then the gauntlet should clearly follow the same color ideas there, I would feel. Yep. That feels right. Oh, yep, there we are. Okay, and then we have iron for the lowlights. Yeah, ooh. And maybe, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, we should make those knuckles brass. What else could we do? Nothing, I tell you what. There we go. Brass accents can be very, very nice, I feel. And I think we're going to do that on the sword. And maybe the belt buckles? Brass belt buckles always feels right to me. They're just nice little accents, you know? Okay. I mean, our little human fighter here is coming along pretty nicely, I feel. I feel like this is quite a good-looking human fighter. Oh, you know what? We should put some... oh, you know what? Nah. Let's go back to the metal. Let's get some brass on that handguard. Yeah, that looks real good. Oh, and the end of the pommel. And let's add in gunmetal for the handle. Oh, that looks real good. And I think we're going to do a similar... actually, no. Let's use a leather handle for the dagger. But a similar metal composition of brass pommel, brass there, iron bolt, iron accent, and then back to the leathers for the scabbard. There we go. That looks great. Why am I buzzing? Ha. Oh well. Moving on. Okay. So let's go back to our cobalt for that armor. Yep. Liking all of that so far. Very good. Shiny, shiny, shiny. Shiny, hiney. Alright. Oh, he needs a good pants color. Let's find him some good pants. Blue feels traditional. This weighty weather blue, I think, does fairly nice. So, like, when you're making a fighter, you want to consider what kind of weapon they have. So we have our flamberge. So I think a great weapon fighter is very much the way to go here. I see a request for a darker blue in the chat. Oh, excuse me. Let's try shaggy space. That might be better. Yeah, you have a... You have to consider what your fighter does as well. And I feel this particular fighter would probably end up being one of those. Let's do pewter for the shoe buckle. Oh no, just the shoe sides here. He'd be one of those battle masters, I feel. The build your own fighter archetype. That does look much better, I feel. Okay, and we still have to do the sword blade. And I think... Let's do the brushed nickel for that. Yeah, that looks good. But we gotta deal with this fire here. And now, like, you could do burning red fire. That turns into this burning orange. That actually doesn't look half bad. But I almost think, like, the blood red fire adds a little bit more. Or maybe the... Maybe not the purple. What's this wild smile? Oh, you know what? Hold up. Pink and purple flames. Or do we go purple and pink flames? I think pink and purple. Oh. Nah. To the light purple. There we go. That looks real nice. I see the chat agrees with me. And so now we pose him. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. We need to do the base paint here. Go to wood. Oh, I feel a nice beach is the way to go. And then plastic. Lost button. There we go. Now we can pose him. I do like this pose of I'm going to kick down the door. You don't know what's coming. This one's also good. The I'm going to run into the fight. I'm going to yeet my sword. Please don't yeet your sword. I don't suggest it. See, this would work if he had a shield. But we didn't make him a shieldy fighter. There we go. That looks pretty good. The come at me bro also really works. Alright. So now we need to consider what this character is. We already know that he's a human fighter. We know that he has a magical pink sword. Don't know what that sword does. It's not important. I feel that if we were to roll his stats, if I had a handful of dice, I went like you're supposed to. Oh, I do have a handful of dice. Hold up. So, if you took your 4d6, went shake a. Yeah, like for example, this 11 I just rolled would not go in strength. That'd be a terrible mistake. I feel a human fighter is the best place to start. You can kind of go however you want with a human fighter. Now that said, there are a lot of different classes, a lot of different races. We got 14 classes, because I count the Mystic, in 5th edition. We got so many different folks you can play as. I personally like calling races folks. I feel it helps change the interpretation of them a little bit. So that's something we want to consider here, is what would our next one be? So we did fighter. So if we look through the other classes, we have, you have your artificers, your barbarians, your bards. Some people count blood hunters. I personally don't see I count them as a tertiary. They're a secondary. They're less important, and I actually put them even more less important than the mystic and the artificer. But I can see why they're very popular with people. Cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, warlock, wizard, mystic. I like mystics. You know what? Let's go through one by one. Let's go through the player's handbook. We did just do... Oh, I see his name is Xander. Well, I don't see any arguments about other names in the chat, so his name will be Xander. And just from the fact that he has the pink hair, I almost feel he has to have the noble background. He's a bit of a disgraced noble. His father doesn't approve of this adventuring business, or getting wizards to prestidigitate his hair pink. He should be at home, running the plantation. Maybe getting married off to that nice young gal whose father owns the cranberry farm. She's not the cranberry farmer. Her dad owns all the cranberry farms. But no, he doesn't want a political marriage. He wants to go out and save people and make something of himself. His father does not approve. So why would he? Okay. So, let's look at our player handbook folks. So we already have a human. We have a human in our human there. In our human fighter, Xander. We still could do a dragonborn, a dwarf, an elf, a gnome, a half-elf, half-orc, halfling, a tiefling. That's just in the player's handbook. We have so many other ones we could do. What should the next member of our party be, besides Xander, the human fighter? So if we go to our heroes, we have Xander, the human fighter, right there. Because I think Xander is just from this appearance, we can get a lot about him. I think doodling your characters in HeroForge is a great way to get a vibe of what your character is. I see a sorcerer. I see an orc. So I think an orc sorcerer is the only way we can go with this. So our next one's going to be an orc sorcerer. So we're going to start anew. And tell you what. I did the last one male, because I am male, and I start with that, typically. But odds, we do a woman. Evens would be men, naturally. That's how that works. We don't know about the character themselves. As we create them, they might surprise us. But, well, I said odds was a woman. We're going to do a female orc sorcerer. So let's start up here. And we're going to go to the orc default to start. I think that's the best. Half-orc, rather. Because we're in the player's handbook. Alright. So, she looks pretty great. I don't know if I like the heavy features on her. I feel... not delicate, though. No, that defeats the purpose of an orc. Well, I guess heavy features is what we're stuck with. I do like the orc ears they use. They're not quite elf ears. But I think they do the job just fine. Her hair, though, leaves a little bit to be desired. Sorcerers, rather, are all very charismatic, so she needs hair that shows off her personality. Now, if we're just doing Player's Handbook, we would want to pick between Wild and Dragon. I think those are the only two options in the Player's Handbook. Let me double check that for Sorcerers. But I know there's a lot of other options elsewhere. In fact, some of the ones I'm very fond of aren't listed in that. There's the Aberrant Mind, I think, is really neat. I think the Pyromancer from Kaladesh, super fun. But yeah, Player's Handbook is just Wild Magic and Dragon Sorcery. Though Dragon Sorcery, you get to pick elements, which is nice. So what kind of Sorcerer do we have here? Do we have Aberrant Mind? Do we have a Dragon Sorcerer? Do we have a Wild Magic Sorcerer? Do we have Pyromancer? Because I'll be honest, looking at her, the fact that she's an orc leads me to think that we want to go with a hairstyle along this line. Or I'm looking for, there we go. Crazy mohawk. But, you know, just extra long ponytail might be fun. This kind of gives me Momo Yaoyorozu vibes from My Hero Academia. I kind of like it. I think it's the way to go. We're going to skip beards, because we're on a female orc, and female orcs are not known for their beards, but they are known for having a bit more hair. It always bothers me when people decide that orcs and dwarf women would be less hairy. There's no reason for that. She has her tusks. It's very important. We want to have tusks. All right. And let's see her measurements. Well, she's a half-orc, so she's got to be large. She should be a giant woman. Good posture, though. We want to have good posture. And you know what? I think muscularity is important on an orc. Personally. Bit more waist. This is the one I think we might max out the booty a little bit more. I feel good about that one. Now, see, part of me is thinking Dragon Sorcerer, because think about these babies on her. And it wouldn't look out of place. But, then again, people might question that. So, let's kill that. Let's go to clothing. And she's sorcerers, so no heavy armor. No armor. We want clothing, but we don't want armor. I'll be honest, I do kind of like the piratey vibe here. I don't know why, but Half-Orc Sorceress is giving me one of those, like, debonair vibes. Because, I'll be honest, growing up at the 3.5 era, Sorcerer was always equivalated with not a lot of clothes. I think the default Sorcerer wore essentially this. It's like, that's not what I want here at all. Or like the trench coat barely covering things. Nah, that's not what we're about. Maybe she just likes being comfortable. Street Mage's coat does look really good, though. You know what? I do think, though, the low-cut pirate tunic was really doing it for me. I think that one's the way to go. Because then it shows off some skin, but not so much skin that we get demonetized when this jumps over to YouTube. So now we have our orc pirate lady. So that's leading me to think Storm Sorceress is the way to go. And of course, if she's in this kind of top, she needs pants. She's clearly the one who wears the pants in her relationship, and that relationship also involves magic. But that doesn't mean we can't give her some cool boots. Wear those nice cuffy pirate boots. You know the kind with the big cuff on the top. Yeah. No. Not right. We want, like, good-looking boots. There we go, with a heel. Let's give her a heel. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's go to her gear. And let's give her what we didn't give the other guy. Let's give her some rings. She knows what she wants, and what she wants is some bling. She's probably got a couple of spouses in different ports. They each give her different rings. That seems important. This is not... Do we give her a cigar? Nah. Cigar doesn't look right. Eye patch? No, 2 on the nose. But definitely magic. She's got to have magic coming off of both hands here. We said Storm Sorcerer. So that leads me to think like lightning bolt in one hand, chunks of lightning in the other. Maybe smoke ball? Smoke ball looks pretty neat. Cool magic shield? Maybe. The lightning orb? Maybe not lightning orb. Ooh, wind. Wind is way to go. Yes. And also, does she need a little pirate cape? Yeah, little pirate cape's looks about right. And how about... Hey, what's that she's got there? A knife! There we are. Okay. Loving all of this. Base. Again, I like wood. I like a wooden base. But you know what? If she's a pirate queen, she needs some things on her base. She needs some coins, because she got herself some of that booty. And maybe some cool magical smoke? Ooh, the rats. I think cool magical smoke might be the way to go here. Ooh. Or alternatively, where is a parrot? There's a penguin. Should have a Gunther, I guess. You know what? Tipped bottle. She's a hard-drinking orc woman. I'm seeing some claims for penguin, though. Let's see how it looks with penguin. You know what? Let's swap them. Let's do penguin in slot 1. Pengy, there you are. And slot B will be gold. Oh, that doesn't work that way. Penguin's always behind her. Rats. There were rats. We could give her rats. Nothing is stopping us. Or we could just leave... The penguin's got her back. Then again, the rats do hang out on sinking ships. So, like, the rats do make sense. But maybe she got the penguin in her travels. I was originally going to go for a magical effect, but... Oh, there's cannonballs, though. We give her a stack of cannonballs. I like the rats. Rats are fun. Okay. Pose time. I personally like this kind of deal. She's prepping that wind spell. She's already shooting the lightning bolt. Now the rats are front and center. I think we're ready to paint her. Oh, wait, you know, before we do that, though, let's go into her face. Oh, wait, that's her eyes. I'm on the wrong one. Let's make her a little cockier. Smilier. Nah, too much smile. There we go. Cocky orc woman, I feel, is the way to go here. So let's go to our flesh tones. We need some good green for this green-skinned woman. We got the dark green. Let's zoom in on her. So we got dark green. We got bright green. We got brown green. I feel dark green is the right answer. Yeah. That feels right. And of course we got a color in her teeth. I think yellow teeth might be the way to go here. There's not great dental care on the open seas. There we are. As for eyes, I personally feel red eyes on an orc makes the most sense. But I'm really loving these aqua eyes. Or maybe the yellow? The yellow? I don't know. I mean, eye color doesn't seem like the most important thing. But if you look at your character sheet, so I still have one open in the window that won't load in the window capture. There is a... Oh, wait, this character sheet doesn't have one. I'm a liar. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's an eye section. What do your eyes look like? That's an important question. What color eyes? All right, I see 2 votes for yellow, so let's go with... Oh. No. Get out of here, mix. I like the yellow. I think the yellow does great on her. Oh, yeah, we should probably paint her ears. There we go. Look at her. I think yellow's very fitting for an orc. Fully agree. I mean, the aqua's nice. Oh, yeah, that's right. Her chest is exposed. We should paint that. There we go. Yeah, she has more exposed than our fighter did, but she's a sorceress. And if you got it, flaunt it. Now, for our red, we have this paprika red, which I think fits very well on her. Now, there's also the tomato red, but I think that's too pinkish. And we already have one pink-haired character. Then we have the Baharat red, which is a bit more realistic for our fantasy green-skinned woman. We are not painting her skin in that color. Sorry, my mouse was just hovering. Do we want to go... Oh, and then we have the burgundy red. So do we want to go with the burgundy, the Baharat, or the paprika? I feel the paprika pops more, but the Baharat looks more realistic. But not the burgundy. So I see a vote for paprika. Paprika. All right, going, gone. Let's go paprika. Alrighty. Now this top. I don't know about you, but this top needs some color. I feel that red is traditional, but I also feel red might be a better color for the corset. Because this top comes with a corset. So I kind of like that with like a purple top. Oh, you're right, Storm Sorcerer though. So we should have a stormy color scheme. So that tells me like grays and blues. Grays and blues. So like maybe a blue top? And like a... light blue? Nah, maybe. Ah, that's better. Aqua corset. There we are. And of course, like, part of the show is answering your D&D questions. You have anything you want to ask me, now's your chance. Pop it in. I kind of like that. That whole color scheme for the top. It's a little much, actually. Now that I'm looking at it, I almost feel like maybe this is better. That's better. That's better. And then the cape. You know what? I almost feel like a tattered black cape. Like it's a fallen pirate flag. Might be the way to go. And you know what? Just to break it up, let's give her a red sash. Maybe a yellow sash? Like lightning bolt? Not that yellow. Yeah. There we go. Now the red worked? Alright. Yeah, red worked. So we're just making characters to make characters. We're brainstorming ideas, trying to make things for whatever campaigns you guys might be playing. Part of this is I'm here to answer questions, but I didn't get a lot of questions in. So we're also making characters, we're discussing character creation, and thinking about our characters as people while we're designing their outfits. That's the purpose of this stream, of thinking about the visuals of our character while we are also thinking about who they are, what they do, what their purpose is. We just want to give her a dead-eyed stare. Nah. She looked kind of cool looking off to the side there. Just looking down on you. Yeah, that looks good. Alrighty. Back to colors. The painting is fun. The painting is nice and calming. You know, burlap pants. I mean, pants are just pants. They don't have to be fancy. But these boots, I don't know why. Black boots feels right to me. That's also a lot of black. But you know what? It's all there. It's all good. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go up to fire. I find fire to be the best one to use for the magical effects. The fire palettes. Ooh, no. More of that. Oh, you know what? We didn't do her rings. Let's work on them rings. Let's get some metal in there, and I feel the gold for a couple of the rings is the way to go. Come on. There we go. We also didn't do her nails. We should definitely do her nails. You know, just to break it up a little bit, let's give her one silver ring. Then we'll go into gemstones. Let's give her, like, a diamond on that hand. And maybe a deep stone for that one. A moonstone ring there. I think a red gemstone over here of some kind is a necessity. I feel that one should be the red one. There we go. And like a Welkin stone. Yeah. So she's got a bunch of magical rings. I think that makes her look really cool. Those are from all of her her paramours in other areas. Ooh, you know what? The cloud crystal I feel makes the magic pop a little bit more. Then for over here, diamond on the bottom, black opal on the top, makes for a really cool wind effect. Though you can also flip it, or even make it like start purple or start blue and turn clear. Yeah, that's really nice. Though I also like the odd ice. The magic effects you kind of get a bit more free reign with, which is fun. Like, you also use the stained glasses. I found the stained glasses work really well for this. It's like the ash bottle up here. And it actually makes it look like a real tornado. At least a little bit. Now, we do have some stuff down here to worry about. Namely, the rats. Come on, give me them rats. There they are. Let's go to hair. Let's paint some rats. And I think Hermit Gray and Lone Beast Brown. Oh, Lone Beast Brown. That gives you a real nice rat look. Look at them rats. Then I think we need a nice pinkish flesh. Like the lips color here. Good for their little rat paws. Good for the little rat noses. Little rat tails. Now, good question. Is can I put rat eye? Nah, you can't use the eye functions on them. Ah, rats. It's a bad joke, and I'm going to be banned from Twitch for it. We could do that, or we could do the little red-eye rats everyone expects. Me, personally, I like green-eyed rats. They know what's up. Or the blue-eyed rats, they're touched by the storm. There are more rats back here. Back to the skin. We need to put in their little paws and their little tails. It's very important. More pink for the tail, I see. Blue rats do a thing. Green eyes seem radioactive. Blue-eyed rats go with the theme. I agree blue-eyed rats go with the theme. I think you're 100% correct. I think these rats in the back should look a little different. I think these should be black rats. In fact, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's have some of the rats be black. And some of them be brown. Yeah, I think mixing the rats. And one white rat named Old Salt. Yes. That looks wonderful. That looks great. That rat doesn't have his paws. Let's give him paws. There we go. And yes, I do think the tails need something a little bit pinker. Oh, yeah. The gums paint, which, rat made out of gums. No. That's terrifying. Sadly, we can't give the rats little sailor hats. That makes me sad. We are going to make this part black plastic. Easy enough. And we're going to need some metal. We're going to need a combination of metals. We're going to need... I think gold. Gold's fine. We can't actually mix and match these. Oh, there's a gemstone. Let's put well, traditionally a big-ass ruby is the gemstone of choice. And then a leather sack to hold them all in. And then we need some wood. I got planks. Oh, you know what we got there? We got a rat who didn't get pawed. Let's give him his paws. Oh, we have, there's a whole other rat trying to sneak into our bag. Who I missed. Zoom in on that rat right there who is trying to sneak into the bag. I think that's what that is. That's what that looks like to me. It's one of the black rats. Yeah. It's just digging through the bag of treasure. And let's go with a nice blue gemstone up here. Sapphire. There we go. Oh no, this thing is made of pirate lady. And we didn't give her a hat. What is wrong with us? Well, let's see what she looks like with the pirate hat. I think that's very important. How else will we know she's a pirate if she doesn't have the hat? None of these are pirate's hats. That's an admiral's hat. That's a cowboy hat. Oh, you know what'll help them figure out she's a pirate even better than giving her a hat? Very important thing. Let's swap out that side item. This woman does not need a dagger. No. She needs a flintlock. She needs a real piratey gun. I think that's the way to go. I would say a cutlass, but I could not see a cutlass there. We decided I think the cape is an old pirate flag she's wearing. But we could kill the cape. But I kind of like the cape myself. Alright, we want some brass. Say there. The flag from her ship that sank right before the campaign started. I love that. That is perfect. It's a memento of the ship she no longer has. All she has left is her gun and her flag that she wears, and her rats. Her glorious ship rats. Alrighty, but now our orc sorceress needs a name. My brain's telling me Brenda, but that's not really much of a half-orc name. Or a pirate name. Yar, Brenda the pirate. No, that doesn't quite work. What do you think, audience? What are you feeling is a great name for our pirate lady? Our storm sorceress pirate lady. Right here. And I'm going to look into another method of making character sheets for next time, so that we can make character sheets on stream instead of just miniatures. I am drawing a blank. Well, in these instances, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is we go to 7th Sanctum. Not 7th Day Adventists. There we go. Well, we could do an extreme fantasy name. Or we could do a goblin name. That's always good. Oh, and a pirate ship name is always fun. So let's do our extreme fantasy names. Let's look at these. I see Wind Ambercaster does sound kind of fun, but let's redo that one. I feel we could do better. Or we can look over here. Kex, for some reason, I really like. Or Zatuk. Both sound really good. Ambertooth, maybe. Sharamph. Okay, okay. I like Sharamph. And one of the pirate names I saw was the Black Disgrace. So Sharamph of the Black Disgrace. Storm Sorceress. Oh, Ambertooth actually is probably... Well, let's make it the whole thing. Sharamph Ambertooth. Book. So that leaves us with Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, Wizard. Paladin. I always forget Paladins. So what should be... I think we should make a full party. I think a full party is the way to go. We already have a tank and our fighter. We have our sorcerer. I'd say let's do a cleric and a rogue then, right? That's the way to do it. So then the big question here is, what folk do we use for the rogue and for the cleric? We'll do other classes later, but we're kind of sticking to what I consider core classes. I think sorcerer and wizard are interchangeable, which a lot of people don't agree with, but I feel that way. You could use one or the other, and it makes sense for a beginner campaign. So, like, let's look here. We have a rogue and we have a cleric. Which one should we tackle first? Viewers, should we tackle rogue first or cleric first? And on the one hand, we have the great healing of a cleric, devotion to a god, or to an ideal. I personally think that there should be a choose-your-own domain. They kind of use light as the default domain. Not sure I agree with that. But I think make your own domain where you get like, hey, here's a little list of abilities, like the Totem Warrior is the way to go. Then we have the Rogue. The Rogue's kind of fun too. They're all sneaky. I see one vote for Rogue. I'm not seeing any other votes so far. I think that means we're going to go Rogue first. And then that brings up the question of what folk do we do for Rogue? Oh, I see a Tiefling Rogue. Rogue or a cleric? Whoa! As I hit my microphone. No, microphone, don't do that. So between Rogue and Cleric, it seems Rogue is winning. Alright. So when we're doing a Tiefling, I like to start with a human, personally. We're going to start with a human, and we're going to roll for gender. Of all the things you could roll for, gender makes sense. It's random, whatever you get. We got even, so that's a man. And you know what? I do feel that a Tiefling should have sharper features. Or bolder features. Not delicate. No, noble? Noble features. We're going to go Infernal Tiefling, I feel. That seems like the way to go. And let's check these ears here. I like the mangled ears. But... oh, noble features. Not necessarily a noble person. Just that being part infernal would naturally give you more of a certain demeanor. Now, there's a couple different ways to do Tieflings. If you're doing it in the D&D 4e, 5e mentality, it's that your Tiefling is much more in the ideal, I should say, of a very regal-looking fellow, right? But, and they have like the big prominent brow horns, they have the big tail. But if you're playing in 3.5 or 2nd or Pathfinder, they used to make you randomly roll what was your Tiefling trait. So, for example, if I pull this up here, I believe they have they have a table on the Pathfinder wiki, and you pick a Tiefling, which was not a default folk for Pathfinder like it is for D&D now. And that was a conscious choice to pull away from D&D. Because 4th edition had brought them up to main book folk, whereas the Pathfinder books went, no, we're not going to upgrade anyone. Though Pathfinder 2nd edition, they upgraded goblins. But the default ability was darkness, and came with horns and goat feet, as we normally think of our tieflings. But the way Pathfinder and earlier editions did it was you would roll on this table, and you would roll so many times. And I normally had people roll 1d4 plus 1 times. So like I just rolled a 3 on this d4, so I'd roll 4 times. And with that, we would do doot. First roll, if we did it this way, I got a 20. Give him weird ears. Well, we already did that. And then the second one, boop, boop. If I get another ears, we can ignore it. 34, suckered hands. Like his hands have octopus suckers on them. And 95 is, he has an uncontrollable twitch. Join the club, buddy. And 12, he has an extra finger on each hand. It's like you get that kind of stuff. I don't think we can do any of those in here other than the ears. So we're going to go with more traditional ideas here on what makes a tiefling a tiefling. Choosing can be fun. I think rolling can be fun. They both have their advantages. So there's the traditional 4th and 5th edition tiefling horns. We could also do more traditional 3rd edition horns. Curvy horns I think are a bit too much. Makes you look a bit like Hellboy. Now those are a nice alternative. These are a nice alternative. Little stubblies. I do like little stubblies. We're going to skip through the alien stuff. Those are nice too. There we go. I think these are the way to go. Let's mess with his hair. I think the rogue is the one I want to put the mask around. That's going to be the one that we do this to. Give him a little ninja mask. Yeah. Now he's being very careful. There's a pandemic. That's it. That's the one. So we're going to give him a scarf. Rogues need scarves. I feel that's the way to go. And like I normally give tieflings default horns unless they roll a different type of horn. And I do like hoovlies on a tiefling. I realize that also makes them look satyrish. We can deal. Give him one of these. Now, the traditional tiefling is human-colored, but nobody wants to play a human-colored tiefling. Those are boring. But let's pick out our clothing first. I do think that we need a scarf. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the whole mask thing work. And we need, like, a good simple shirt. Ooh. Okay, because the other way I would do a rogue is just make Lupin the Third. But that's a personal preference. We could give him another pirate tunic. Be a shirtless disaster. No, don't be a shirtless disaster. Though I do think the long coat has something going for it. Well, if we do Lupin the Third, we can't do the mouth covering. We will save that for a second rogue. Because we're going to do other rogues in the future. I think more traditional D&D rogue is the way to go right now. Because we're trying to make more traditional characters at the moment. I know the CDC says not to touch my face. I'm still doing it. Because my face is mildly itchy. And of course, like I've mentioned before, the point of this show is if you have D&D problems, please don't hesitate to bring them up in chat or send them over to the Dungeon Doctor on Twitter or Tumblr. I'll be happy to help you. Too fancy. That's it. That's the look. If you don't have time to play D&D, you have to consider what else is using up that time. And is it something that is worth giving up Dungeons and Dragons for? For example, if it's a child, yeah, that's probably worth it. Please, we didn't do the orc snails. Oh well. If it's a child, that's probably worth it. You should take care of that child. Definitely. But if your problem is just that there's like too many things in your day, if it's work, you gotta work. I understand. That's just part of life. I think that's too big a sword. It's too big a sword. I want a small sword. Yeah, that's just part of life. It sucks. Nobody's denying it sucks. But it is what it is. Oh, knives are there. There we go. That's the business. And then he needs to have stolen something, right? It feels like there should be something he stole in the other hand. Or, alternatively... Do we have a crossbow? No. Because crossbows are here. Pew pew. Where'd that elegant dagger go? I didn't mean to get rid of the elegant dagger. Yeah, if it's work, you gotta work. But if you're saying, oh, I have no time, and all that time is being spent up on, like, just hanging out on Twitch, find a group, man. Ooh. Now what can be down here? Okay, yeah, we could do something fun with this. Where is a big gemstone? A big gemstone automatically indicates we stole something fun. Or a key. Key is good. Key is good. But I think a big gemstone is the way to go here. Little pouch. He stole the monies. Yeah. He stole the money. Okay. So I think that does it for this fella. Let's get the colors. First off, that skin color. Let's see here. Blue gives us an interesting vibe. So does that blue. That dark purple. Traditional red. Inky black. But at that point, we just have a drow with horns. Should do like that? See, I really like the purple. I think the purple's the way to go. And then personally, I am... Ooh. Albino eyes. Red lizard eyes. Could be a lot of fun. Ooh, I think that's the winner on the eyes. Right there. Let's do that. And then we'll go to red for the ends of his horns. I think we're actually going to go to bone for the horns. No. But we will do bone for the end of the horns. Yeah, that looks really good. I'm kind of digging that. And then for the hair color, I feel this is where the dark red will do well. This dark purple's not bad. Noticing a lot of pull asking for the very fun colors. See, I like the passion fruit too. I think the passion fruit's too bright here. The boysenberry works really well. Grape's not bad. So many choices. Grape could work. Let's do the scarves. I think a traditional black muffler is the way to go there. But I do love the idea, like his mom made him the scarf. And he's just being edgy. You know what? Yeah, she made him the scarf because it gets cold. Exactly. And he should be proud that his mom wanted to make him a scarf. I do think a purple and black trench coat works really well. I think that looks really fun. Oh, I forgot to color his tail. And his hooves. See, bitty hooves. We should definitely color those. And we'll put the red as his little horns on there. And also the demon red as his hoof color. Yes. Okay, now we gotta pick a color for his pants. He feels to me like the kind of guy who wears black leather pants to be edgy. You know the sort. And I do feel brass highlights are still the way to go. Brass is always a nice highlight for a belt buckle. Yeah. Then again, a pewter belt buckle might actually fit better on him. Pewter on those little knee pads. Gunmetal black for the insides. I also need some gunmetal black buttons. Pewter buttons. Iron buttons? Iron buttons. Yeah, I like that. I think that adds something to him, that he's edgy, but he still wears the scarf his mom made for him. Which is a good place to put a character. That adds some depth to them. I forgot he's wearing fingerless gloves. And therefore, his finger flesh would be exposed. And also, therefore, we need to do his nails. Good. Good. Okay. Oh, and he grabbed a sack, so we're going to need to color in the sack. And you know what? He's probably in an alleyway. So we're going to go with a stone base. Yes. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's color in his crossbow. Crossbows are important. I think storied wood is the way to go for most of this. Most of that would be in storied wood. I feel that they would use maple for the arrow shaft. Itchy. Iron, yeah, iron arrow tip. And let's go to the hair for some blue fletching. Oh, this is where we will use that passion fruit. He has little pink fletched arrows. Very nice. That could be fun. And let's go with the gray that never comes for his blade. And for the little teeth on his blade. But the rest of it should probably have like a brushed bronze. There we go. Yes, that looks wonderful. And then we gotta make this smoke work. That smoke's gotta work it. Let's find some smoky glass. I think that's the... purple. Black? Nah. Ooh, eclipse black. So he has a blade that weeps darkness. So he's the edgiest of edgelords. Clearly. Clearly, look at how edgy he is. Look upon him, ye edgy, and despair. I think that is in fact the way to go, and I think that looks really nice for a nice cobblestone effect. Yeah, that's a real good looking rogue right there. And for some reason, Morgandar shows up in my mind as his name, and he introduced himself as Morgandar, the dark edge of darkness, and then his mother calls him just Morgie. That feels about right to me. I think that works. I think that works, Mr. Dark Edgelord we have here. In his black leather trench coat. His fun black leather trench coat there. Yeah. Okay. So then let's get started on our cleric. So we got to pick what folk our cleric is going to be. I have a gut feeling that dragonborn is the way to go, but I think drow could also be very fun. Because drow are traditionally very religious people. They just typically worship, you know, an evil spider goddess or demon lords, which is more villainous than we want. But there are other ways to twist that. Meanwhile, with a dragonborn, you're kind of built in with a paladin of Bahamut right there. Or a paladin of Tiamat. But if we go use 3-5 as an inspiration, there were like 12 dragon gods. You had some options. And maybe they don't feel any attachment to the dragon gods, because dragons won't give them the time of day. I want to stick to player's handbooks this time. But like next time we're doing characters like this in HeroForge, we might find ourselves making Loxodons or Turtles or, you know, things of that nature. those could be a lot of fun. Alternatively, before we do that, before we do our cleric, let's do a dragonborn idea that is similar to what we were just talking about. Let's do another rogue. We're going to do a very different rogue. But what we're going to start with first is we're going to get rid of this head frill. We don't need that. We don't need any of that. Nope. Get out of there. And now we're going to go to hair. We're going to go with the tentacles. Yep, because we're going to dragonborn. Because there was the thought of making a Lupin the Third type rogue. And I love Lupin the Third. I love the entirety of the Phantom Thief ideal that he has. And I think that's the way to go. Oh wait, but we could do it with neck, couldn't we? We can give an actual tie. Like this tie. No, we can't. They don't have a real tie. They have a bow tie. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what a Lupin sort wears. Who wears a breasted jacket. They normally is open. Is the other thing. Normally has his suit open. Let's see here. Jacket. Jacket. Oh, hit the wrong button there. I think that's all we're going to get for an actual tie is that one. Then we need to do legs. We need some slacks. Tailored slacks. And really, that's the whole look. It's all going to come down to the paint. And, of course, the posing at that point. Looking incredulous. Ah, yeah, that's the way to go. Let's go check that facial hair real quick. And see if we have, like, reptilian facial hair. We do not. That makes me sad. So back to colors. Now, what type of color of Dragonborn are we doing here? Well, let's see. Go down to reptiles. I feel brass is the traditional for a Dragonborn. But copper's also fun. Of course, we can mix it up a little. Brass works really well with the Lupin because it's third place. Ha-ha. But let's use copper for his details there. I think copper details would really help him stand out a bit. Yeah. Yeah, look at those. Look at all of that. The whole thing works. It's a good look. Well, that's the thing, is we have to pick the colors for his suit. The way you differentiate Lupin the Third eras is what color his suits are. So we have some choices there. So I do think he would have actual white teeth on the inside there. Oh, let's pick his eyes. Eyes are important. I do think the acid eyes Might Frost Eyes? Yeah, it makes him look inviting. In fact, let's go to his face. Just a real cocky lizard boy. That does tell me there's a flesh color we need to use, though. We need to use the gums. Right there, which almost tells me we should close the mouth a little bit. But let's get into cloth. So you have red jacket, green jacket, blue jacket. Nah. Yeah. That's the way to do it. And then his outfit is, the iconic outfit is a red jacket, either a blue or a black undershirt, and then either a pink or a yellow tie. And sometimes he has the green jacket, sometimes he has a blue jacket. We've gone with red here. I feel red's the way to go. Most Americans think of the red jacket look, because that was the main season we got in America. I do think the blue pants are important, which we are going to, of course, give him a nice brass belt buckle under here, maybe some brass buttons, and a leather belt. I feel woodshot hide is the best one for that. We're going to go back to our cloth. We're going to, let's look at that. Yeah, his pockets always match the color. So we're going to make his pockets match. There we go. And I'm feeling like black shirt, yellow tie is the way to go. That'd be a lot of fun. Oh, we should not go to that. That was me clicking off of the bookmarks bar. Whoops. I have a Google Translate saved that I always end up accidentally clicking, and it's to yell at some telemarketers that harass my wife. We're going to call him Lupax the Third because he's a dragon. You know, for when you just really want to go close to what you're doing. All right. That's 4 down. Let's do our cleric. So what folk should our cleric be? I'm thinking about it. If we look at our amazing group of heroes, we have 2 rogues. We have a fantastic sorceress. We didn't do her nails. Let's do her nails. I do like the drow cleric. But let's fix our sorceress's nails first. So we left them blank, and she doesn't deserve that. We're going to go to the plastic colors for the nails. We're going to give her some red nails. She got her nails did. And you know what? Maybe she wants to show them off. There we go. Perfect. All right. Save Ambertooth. New. If we're doing a drow cleric, we have to wonder, is this a male cleric who was banished, or is from one of the demon-worshipping sects, or is an Umbragan from Eberron? Well, I got a 6, and we said evens were men. So we have to make a male drow cleric, which means this man has a price on his head. The drow hate male clerics. They think male clerics are an abomination. They shouldn't exist. Now, the Umbragan, their sibling group over in Eberron, are the other way around. They're patriarchal. So let's give him a Ripley base to stand on. Fantastic. And that's the thing, is you can take ideas and mix them however you want in your campaigns. Do what you want with your campaigns. That's part of what's fun about Dungeons and Dragons and other RPGs. Take the ideas you have, mix them up a little. Well, make them a little short stack. Make them a bit of a beefcake. This is the one we're going to max that booty for the chat and max the curves a little bit. Because he is a drow and not an umbragan. And if he had this much book learning, he was not picked for fighting. He is a boy toy. I think is the only real way to put him. So we need to look through here and see what can we find. Well, we definitely want fantasy clothing. That narrows it down. We want armor. Works better if I type in the box. This is a guy who would have some armor. He would be a little worried about wearing his armor. And being a drow, he's probably wearing leather armor. He's probably not one of your more heavily dressed individuals. Again, that scale armor would protect him from a lot of things. Alright, then we got to do his pants. We got to wear pants. Pants are important. He probably doesn't have well-armored pants. If he did, he'd be, like, here. Feet. He probably doesn't have the fanciest shoes, just normal boots. But now the big question is, if he's a drow cleric, who is his god? That's going to determine some things here. What kind... Well, I guess there's always, what's her name? Alistrie. If we're in the Forgotten Realms. Comparatively, the only other one I can think of is there's a scorpion god if we're in Eberron. Those are options, definitely. Or is he one of those I've discovered a new god type clerics? I like that idea. I like the idea that he has discovered a new deity, and he needs to show all the other drow what it means to follow this guy. This guy who believes in gender equality. He is a masculinist, which you don't get enough of those down in the Underdark. Let's see, what about staves? Make him into Jafar. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. I'm looking. I want to give him something like a club or a warhammer. I wasn't seeing anything quite good enough. What I really want is a Morningstar. Oh, there it is. Morningstar. Yeah. Morningstar is the quintessential cleric weapon. Darn it. I hit the wrong button. Okay, the dual shields does look pretty cool. I'm not going to deny that. Give him some brass knuckles. No. Morningstar, I think, is the way to go. Yep. And then he needs his little side items. And I feel the best ones to indicate that this is a cleric are a potion bottle on one side and a book on the other. Where's our book? Book. Book. There it is. Book. So we found a new god who believes in masculinity and masculinism, and that you shouldn't be ashamed to be a man. And the other drow are not a fan of his because of this. This little cape. Little cape always feels cleric-y to me. Or alternatively... oh, you know what? Let's go to his clothing. Let's give him a necklace. That'll be his little symbol. Yeah, like that. Like that one right there. Oh, can I not pick that one? Is the armor hiding it? Oh, the armor hides it. Well, that's not as fun. Now we gotta pick a different armor. Or not. We could just leave it as is. Okay, he has his hands exposed. Good, good, good. I like all of that. Now, I'm personally fond. No, that looks weird. That works. I'm personally fond of this skin color for drow. Move away from the black skin and into purple. That way they can still be dark elves without it coming off as honestly kind of racist. Because it is. The other way is just kind of racist. You gotta accept that. Would nails be under flesh? Ooh, oh, that actually works really well. Now for hair. I know it's always supposed to be white hair, but I kind of like wizard gray as our option here. That feels right. And of course, red eyes are traditional for drow. Purple if you just want to be a Dritz clone. Amber has been getting popular as of late. Now this is where I always felt they should be, is the completely red eyes. Because they live underground, that's why their eyes were red originally. Was they needed to see in the dark. So like the albino red eyes are always how I imagined drow when I was growing up. Except for Dritz, who his lavender eyes would have actual sclera. Which most drow's eyes would not. What with being the being mostly blind. Alright, let's put that back there. Yeah, that works. That works. Okay. Then we want the leather on that handle. And you know what? Let's actually do this Lost City of Brass look. And there's another one in here. Welcome Stone Robot. For that. So his weapon looks all rusted out. Like it's old. I kind of like that look. Of all of his stuff is just so old. Ooh, antique brass does look good, though. No, we want leather for that part. Why did I make that metal? There we go. But I like the idea if he has old stuff. All of his stuff he, like, found while out adventuring. And so it's mildly rusted. Because he doesn't have real good equipment like most drow. Because he's, you know, verboten. They're not allowed to talk to him. It's like some of his stuff is just straight up rusted. I think that works on a lot of levels. Give him the purple pants. Purple always feels like a necessity for a drow, to me. And the drow are in the player's handbook now, so... like, sky's the limit. Where'd that rusting titan go? Yeah. Yeah, I like the rust as his highlight color. Oh, rusty belt buckle. Very good. I like that rusty belt buckle. And let's get him some leather straps. Whoop, not in the bottle. Blue book. Blue book is fun. Dark shoes. Actually, let's differentiate his soles and laces with actual black. And give him socks. He should wear socks. He should have some nice little socks on. There we go. Okay. Now he does have a... Oh, you know what he does have? Is skin I didn't cover up. Let's paint him that part of his skin. That looks like his skin. There we go. We need some leather straps here. Yep, those are leather. And that should be leather too. We can go back to metal. Get him that rusted out look. A bit more on those. Perfect. Undershirt. I think we went with the purple for his pants. Let's do it for his shirt as well. I like all of that. Big fan of everything there. Glass. Glass, nice. Health potion with a little wooden cork. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, and his cape. He needs his capey ape there. And I feel like a black or a dark blue little cloak he uses works really well. I really like that look on him. Let's pose him. And I like this is the very cleric-y pose. Yeah. Fan of that. And let's put like some crystals on the ground and some smoke effects. Very good. And we're going to use gemstones. We're going to make some deep crystals here, mixed with spider stone. And that makes for some really cool looking crystals, right? We're actually going to invert it on the last one. Yeah, so he has all these crystals around him. Really dig that. And it's volcanic sand. And I think like... Let's check plant. No. Not plant. Maybe this weird blue and purple smoke coming up around him? Yeah, it'd be like the Underdark radiation. Oh, I missed one. I missed a crystal. So let's do that one. Let's do the little ones reversed. There. I think that looks really cool. Our male drow cleric of somebody. I don't know who. But they're probably very proud to have him. Because like this also looks cool. But like I think this feels the clericiest, or this one. This one? Yeah, triumphant pose. Fantastic triumphant pose there. Alright, but he needs a name. Hard mode, don't start it with DRI, which is what everyone does for drow. Hello, just Jetarafo51 Cause. Nice to see you. We are just finishing up here. We've been answering D&D questions. Okay, that feels like this is a bot that has popped into the show, which is a concern. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, we need a good name for our drow here. That feels a little rude for somebody to just pop in and start saying, come look at their streams. Zin. I like Zin. So we have Zin, the drow cleric. Very good. So the heroes we've made today, Ambertooth, Lupax III, Mordengar, Xander, and Zin, I think fit an archetype very well. This is a real party. If somebody sat down at my table with a Half-Orc Sorceress, a drow cleric, a dragonborn rogue, a tiefling rogue, and a human fighter, I would feel like this is a complete party. We are good to go. We even have a backup rogue in case we break one, which we might. That happens. Sometimes rogues just break. Well, let's just ban the bot then, shall we? I feel that's the way to go. Boop boop. Goodbye, Mr. Bot. Nobody wants a bot in here. I mean, they can watch all they want, but interrupting is rude. Well, not you, Nightbot. I installed you. That's different. But yeah, no, this works really well. So, what I would suggest in the future, as we go forward, is go ahead to the Dungeon Doctor Twitter, at the Dungeon Doct 1, or thedungeondoctor.tumblr.com. And well, there's also MTGBot, who is an accepted bot, Wilhelmina. But yeah, go over there. Send any questions you might have. Send any ideas you might have. Anything you want to hear talked about on the next Dungeon Doctor. Ideally, I would like to do this twice a week. Wednesdays and Saturdays. Fridays are eaten up for me. That's one of my days off. And then Tuesday, Thursday seems like it's going to be House Flipper and some other games. But for right now, I think Dungeon Doctor twice a week is a good way to go. Gives us these nice 2-hour blocks. And then there will be other forms of Dungeon Doctor on the YouTube channel and on a couple other platforms. Of course, Twitter and Tumblr. So please check those out. And of course, if you like what you watched, make sure you're following, make sure you're subbed. It always helps. Any way you can help, it helps, and I appreciate it. And just clicking that little heart already means a lot. As well as forcing your friends to watch by just spamming them with links. No, don't do that. That's not right. But yes, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow there should be a more fun stream of sorts. Oh, what was that? Shards and myself, thank you for the follow. Very fun. With Dungeon Doctor, we like to do all of the follows and subs at the end, but that's where we are. We're at the end. That's fine. There's the wise bot finally catching up. Fantastic. Yeah. This is it. This was a good first try. I'm going to see what we can do to get the character generator working in window. Fingers crossed. Because I would like to actually stat out Ambertooth, Lupax, all of these ones that we make in HeroForge, so that you can take them to your own table, should you so wish. Or tweak them however you wish. That's part of it. This is supposed to help both advanced, intermediate, and beginning players alike, because I've been doing Dungeons & Dragons in some way, shape, or form for 18 years. And I figure I did 2 years of school to count as an actual educator. 18 years of Dungeons & Dragons should make me an expert. Makes sense to me. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Make sure you're following here. Make sure you're subbed over on YouTube. That's YouTube. both the links should be in the description, honestly. Both the Alchemy Prime YouTube channel and the Plays Games YouTube channel. And anything you can do to help always helps. We always appreciate it. Follows, subs, etc. Getting friends to watch, always great. And throw me those D&D questions as they pop up. How do we find time to play? How do we deal with problem players, problem DMs, etc. Thank you all for joining us, and hope you have a great evening.